Welcome to Pour the Wine is Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Gary.
And it is time to pour the wine. It's been a long day.
On it.
You're on it. We're pouring, what is that one called again?
This is a Cabernet Franc.
A Cabernet Franc, and it's called the Franc. That's the name of the wine.
It's funny.
Very ingenious.
I know, right?
Very ingenious. Well, we're here, and today we are recording our very first TV series review episode.
Yay!
Yay! We've been doing movies, and now we're diving into some TV series on Hallmark. We've decided to start with The Chicken Sisters.
Yay! The Chicken Sisters.
The Chicken Sisters. This series is based on the best-selling book, The Chicken Sisters by K.J. Del Antonia. It was actually a Reese Witherspoon book club pick in December of 2020.
Really?
That feels forever ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
December of 2020 when we were in the middle of all that madness.
Craziness, yes.
Before The Chicken Sisters started airing on the Hallmark Channel, it did air on Hallmark Plus in the fall of 2024. So all episodes are currently on Hallmark Plus,
Yes.
but now it's going to drop weekly on Sunday nights on the Hallmark Channel.
Yes.
Interestingly, Hallmark Plus launched on September 10th, 2024, and the first episode of The Chicken Sisters aired on September 12th, and then dropped weekly through October. So not like Netflix, they don't release them all at once. They do it once a week, which is kind of cool. So we missed it then, but we're catching it now, and we're pretty excited.
Yes, we are.
To dive in.
I'm ready for this.
Yeah, we're ready. So do you want to tell everyone what The Chicken Sisters is about?
Absolutely.
Before we get much further?
Yes. It's a family feud over generations, conflict between rival fried chicken restaurants, Mimi's and Franny's, dividing the town as loyalties are tested. Objective: resolve long-standing rift and unite the community through a shared love of chicken.
Who doesn't love fried chicken?
Oh, I know I do.
We love fried
Speaking
chicken.
of fried chicken, I could eat something right now.
Right
with
now.
This glass of wine.
We are. We haven't had dinner. We're hungry. That sounds good right now.
So, tell us who's in the Chicken Sisters.
Well, this is, we're going to get through this. This is a list of actors in this series.
Yes,
let me
there's
tell
a
you.
lot.
So
and while you're doing that, I'm going to have a sip of wine.
Take a sip of wine, sit back and relax.
Cheers, everybody.
Because I don't want to miss anybody, and we won't go through everybody every week.
Right.
We'll kind of just go through the main. And if anybody new is sort of added in per episode, then we'll touch on that right before we start the episode.
Yep.
So, all right, let's dive in. Skylar Fisk plays Amanda Moore Hillier, and she is actually the daughter of Sissy Spacek. The iconic actress. Hello.
Wow.
Stephen King's Carrie.
Okay.
Coal Miner's Daughter. Blast from the Past. Bloodline. We loved Bloodline. Spacek was in that. Her dad is Jack Fisk, and he is a production designer and art director. So the creative juices are strong there with Skylar Fisk. I think this might be her first role in a Hallmark production. She has a few dozen acting credits. Most recent movie was in 2022, and it was called Sam and Kate, actually with her mom, Sissy Spacek, and Dustin Hoffman.
All right.
She actually, when I was reading up on the actors in Chicken Sisters, she was one of the ones who lost her home in the recent wildfires in California, specifically the Pacific Palisades. So just horrible, horrible devastation there, and we feel for her for sure.
I know.
It had to be terrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What's going on out there, right?
Yep. Genevieve Angelson plays May Moore. This is her first Hallmark production. She recently has been in The Handmaid's Tale in 2022. She was in 5 episodes. She was in New Amsterdam in 2022. Also 7 episodes. And she was in The After Party. Also in 2022, 7 episodes. Yes, we really liked New Amsterdam for a while.
Right.
And we really liked The After Party, although I think that's been canceled now.
That's
all right. The iconic Leah Thompson plays Nancy Hillier, Amanda's mother-in-law, and married into the Hillier family and runs Franny's. And of course, Leah Thompson, she was in Hallmark's Next Stop, Christmas, in 2021. She also starred in Hallmark's Jane Doe Mysteries from 2005 to 2008, which is a series of movies.
Right.
She was, of course, from the 80s in Red Dawn.
Red
Dawn. Do you remember who was in that? It's about a group of teens that come together to save their town in America.
Was that Patrick Swayze?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After a Soviet/Russian invasion. They did do an updated version.
Did they?
I think in 2011 or 2012. It's not the same, though.
No,
but Red Dawn, an iconic 80s
not
movie
from the
for
80s.
sure.
Come on now.
Patrick Swayze, like you mentioned, C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing, Charlie Sheen. Leah Thompson was also in All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise. And we can't not mention Back to the Future. 1, 2, and 3. Oh my gosh, some great movies. She was in Some Kind of Wonderful, Tales from the Crypt, TV series. Relatively recently, she was in the TV series Scorpion, which we watched.
That.
And that was a great series.
Guys, yes, and women.
She was in a few episodes of The Goldbergs. And she starred in a series called Switched at Birth on Freeform. And now she's on Chicken Sisters.
Oh.
Right. So she, and she was also on a series called The Spencer Sisters, and that aired on the CW, but it is actually now on Hallmark Plus.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that works, but there you have it.
You know what? You get to work where you get to work.
But we love Leah Thompson. And then, of course, Wendy Malick, another iconic actress in the house.
Yeah.
She plays Augusta Gus Moore. She is Amanda and May's mom, and she's a descendant of the Moore family that runs Mimi's.
Yep.
The Mimi's Chicken Restaurant. Wendy Malick was in the Father Christmas Hallmark movies, which were Finding Father Christmas, Engaging Father Christmas, and Marrying Father Christmas. She's also been in a few other Hallmark mysteries. She was in Scrooged with Bill Murray, which we love. The American President, which I don't think you've seen, that we have to watch, with Michael Douglas and Annette Bening.
No, I think we did watch it.
Wendy Malick is in it. So good. She's done tons of episodic work. She was in the HBO series Dream On for 119 episodes. Just Shoot Me, 149 episodes. Oof. Hot in Cleveland. I mean, she's just had a long-running episodic career, really. She was in The Ranch, Young Sheldon, and of course, Not Dead Yet. I think she was in an episode of that. And Shrinking, which we love her in Shrink. We love that show. It's so good. Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. Yes, that's on Apple TV or Apple Plus.
Yep.
Margot Martindale plays the narrator. This is her first Hallmark production, but she's been around for a hot minute. You may not know the name, but you'd recognize her face. She's been in so many things. Recently, she was in Your Honor.
Yes.
The Showtime series that we like. The Americans, which was really good.
That was a really good
Dexter. She was in a series called The Riches, and I really liked that. Was with Minnie Driver.
I don't think
you've ever. No. They were gypsies, and they ended up in a house, and they pretended to be a different family. They pretended to be this wealthy family. It was really, really good. Yeah.
Can we do that?
There was a comedian that was in it, and his name is escaping me now. She was also in The Firm, Days of Thunder.
Okay.
Both helmed by Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And recently, she was in the movie Cocaine Bear. We didn't see that, but we heard a lot about it.
Yeah, the kids watched that one.
Yeah.
They said it was crazy.
Rukiah Bernard plays Sabrina Sky, the host of the competition show, which is
Ultimate Kitchen Clash.
I know you like saying that. So she's been in several Hallmark movies, including 3 Christmas and Evergreen movies. Okay. She was also in Hearts of Winter and One Winter Weekend trilogy, and also in Just the Way You Are. Those are all Hallmark movies. She was in the TV series Yellow Jackets.
Ooh, that's another good series.
Alaska Daily. We watched that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
with Hilary Swank.
Yes.
And Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah, we really liked that one as well. James Cott plays Frank Jr. That's Nancy's son and Amanda's husband. Okay. He was in an episode of Wind Calls the Heart in 2024 and in the movie Christmas on Cherry Lane in 2023. He's also been in a few of the Ruby Herring mystery movies.
Okay.
There you go. He was in Virgin River and one episode of The Good Doctor.
The Good Doctor. That's another good series. Oh, goodness.
Caitlin Howden plays Shauna, a waitress at Franny's. She was in Jingle Ball Run in 2024.
That was another good one.
She was in an episode of A Million Little Things and The Last of Us, which was a hugely popular series.
Yeah, we haven't
She
watched
has a
that
few
one.
dozen acting credits. No, we haven't. The kids keep asking us.
I know.
And we just haven't gotten into it.
Mm-mm.
No reason. We just haven't watched it.
There's a lot of other series we're watching.
Right.
It's just too much.
Cassandra Sawtell plays Frankie, Amanda and Frank Jr.'s daughter. She started acting when she was 6 and has acted pretty consistently ever since. She was born in 1997.
97. Jeez, I had graduated high school way
Graduated
before
from
that.
college by that time. Yeah, that's crazy. I know when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. She's great though. She's 27, 27, 28?
What's the saying? The young is wasted on the youth.
The youth is wasted on
the youth is wasted on the young. That's right.
You said that backwards. It's fine.
That's all right.
She was in Happy Holidays in 2024 and an episode of Tracker.
Ooh, Tracker.
Yeah, Tracker.
A new series.
Hector Rivera plays Sergio. He is the cook for Gus. He was in Hallmark's Groundswell in 2022 with Lacey Chabert and Sugar Plum Twist in 2021.
Sugar Plum.
Sugar Plum.
That's awesome.
I didn't know that had a ring to it, but you put a ring to it. That was pretty good.
I'm always putting a ring to something. You know what I mean? I put a ring on your finger.
Yes, you did. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? So, you want to talk about what we're going to review then?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. Today, we're reviewing the first episode of The Chicken Sisters' Welcome to Merinac, y'all, which aired on Sunday, March 30th, 2025. If you missed it, don't worry, because you can catch it on Hallmark Plus now.
Yes, you can.
Woohoo. Well, it's time to drop the synopsis of Season 1, Episode 1.
All right. Welcome to Merinac, y'all. I'm just going to like saying the titles of these, I think. Sisters Amanda and May reunite when reality show Kitchen Clash comes to their town, pitting their feuding families' rival chicken restaurants against each other. Amanda signs up, but her mom demands May's participation to compete on the show.
Nice.
So, what did you think of episode 1 of the series?
Well, there was a lot to unpack in this episode.
There sure was.
Yeah, there was. But who doesn't love a 100-year-old feud in a small southern town between two best friends that were as close as sisters?
Ooh, look at you getting that out.
Ooh, that was a mouthful,
take a breath.
Right? I know. But I did.
That was one long continuous thought.
I know. That's me. One long continuous thought. But I did like how well organized it was, the episode was, and how they brought in each character. So that's what I liked about it. What do you think?
I agree. There was, like you said, there's so much to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
We really do get a crash course in the main characters. They literally dive right in with the humor, the wit, the family dynamics, and the reality cooking show competition to boot. So there's so much going on, but they did such a good job as far as the first episode goes because there's so much detail, especially since it is based on a book.
Yep.
You know, you can't bring everything to the screen.
Nope.
And a lot of times, first episodes of a series, you know, you and I often don't like them because we know they're trying to get a lot in. They're trying to do a lot of backfill. They're really trying to, you know, tell the story of each character so you know what's going on. And I get it. That's why we give series like at least 2 or 3 episodes because you got to get past that first initial one. Mm-hmm. But I really did feel like this first episode worked really well. And we found out so much about each character. And it was only an hour episode.
Yeah, 1 episode.
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes or whatever. So, you know, it turns out to be with commercials and whatnot. But they did, I believe, a really fantastic job at giving us a glimpse, but a lot at the same time of the characters.
Yep.
So I think we have really good places to go in this series. So can we talk a little bit about, can I dive into some of the characters?
Let's do it. Dive in.
Okay.
Splash.
First up, I really wanted to talk about Wendy Malick, her role as Gus.
Yes.
just because she's like the perfect combination of sarcasm, anger, and she's hardened in a way. And, like when she says, well, you're going to waste my last moment of peace before the lunch rush. Like she has these one-liners, these quips, the sarcasm, and she just seems angry about life.
Yes.
A lot of the time. And especially the fact that, of course, Amanda marries and is working for the enemy.
I know.
So that really goads her, and she has this affinity for May, the other sister who's like the shiny star. She moved away, and appearances aren't everything, as you find out. But I loved her character.
Yes.
Right away. Leah Thompson, same thing, who plays Nancy. She's so great at the wholesome persona.
Right.
Hello, Back to the Future.
I know.
No, but she's just so great. But then by the end of the episode, she starts to come out of her shell. She builds more confidence. She's starts,
like Hollywood.
Yeah, she starts saying things that she normally wouldn't say. Like, I think there's a point where, when they're talking about whether or not to do the competition, and she tells Amanda something like, take the moment. This is your moment. Take it.
Right.
And she's never said things like that before to Amanda, especially if it means, Amanda going against her own mother.
Right.
So to speak. So, you just get a sense that she sort of kept to herself and been this wholesome, nurturing, presence. And now she's coming out of it, and she's like, hey, wait a minute. Her husband is deceased, and she's of dating age, and she still is attractive, and she's kind of feeling herself now by the end. So I really
I
like
kind of felt that
two.
too, but I also felt like she was kind of putting that wedge in between Gus.
Did you feel
and
that
Amanda?
Way?
Yeah, there were some times. She's like,
know.
well, I just don't like, she just deals my pickle.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
Well, or it's just she's finally like, you know what? I have to take care of me. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
Like, now it's time to take care of me, and I'm not trying to hurt people on purpose, but we have to move forward in life, and you're either going to be with us or you're going to stay behind, So that's kind of how I viewed that. And as far as Amanda, she's sort of stuck in a rut. She, the spark has left her marriage. Her teen daughter is growing up fast, and boy, is her teen daughter all teen. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
She is all teen.
And it's sort of like what I think a lot of, especially women, go through. Like, what are you doing? You're a mom for all those years, and all of a sudden they don't need you as much anymore, and you might be, just kind of going through the motions in your marriage, and you're trying to liven it up, but you don't know how. You might not have the means to do it. And so I feel like that is probably so relatable to so many women. Like when she's walking around in the grocery store in a daze, it's like, feel? You didn't know. That's not how I feel.
I want to make sure.
Just wrote, you just kind of go through the motions. Yeah. And what do we always say? You're existing, but are you living?
Right.
And she's kind of in that just existing, going through the motions, going to work, making sure her daughter's taken care of. I think she wants another baby because that might bring the spark back a little bit and bring some liveliness into her life.
Although what
do you think?
There was one part where she was in her daughter's bedroom talking to her, and her daughter was on the laptop looking at Sparkling, her aunt's show.
Yes. May's show.
I thought it was hypocritical of her to go, I can't remember exactly what she said, but something like, you're a traitor, you're watching this. And I'm like, that's the pot calling the kettle black, considering you married a Hillier,
Yeah. Well, it might be too, she's just a little bit jealous because May got away from the town. Right. And not that she wants to get away, but it's just that, that sparkly, shiny,
yes,
thing that's out
that you get her think out of is the small town,
and you think she's doing so great, and little do you know what's really going on in her life. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
I liked when the narrator said, as far as the competition goes, that Amanda really does it because maybe if someone came into town and saw her isolation, they would help her,
right? Because
she feels alone.
Right.
She doesn't feel like anyone's on her side. And it was sad, it's sad in a lot of ways. And her sister always seems to have the spotlight. And so she sees the competition as her thing to bring to the town, to bring life and energy back to her own life. And maybe she'll get some attention for it.
And you can see at that moment, when she was standing in the street because the ultimate kitchen clash had showed up. You could just see it in her face, like, here it is. Here we go.
They're here.
My life is about to change.
But she was still unsure because her mom wasn't quite on board. And yeah. No, I think there's a lot of room for development with her character too. So I'm excited to see that.
I know.
Frank Jr.
Yes.
He drinks a lot. He's a cook, right? In Franny's kitchen. His mom is Nancy, Leah Thompson. It looks like he's going through the motions too. And, I was wondering, did we ever see much interaction between him and his daughter?
No.
We don't.
Actually,
I was thinking about that.
not.
I was like, you don't really see them interact at all. You see the kind of butting heads between Amanda and Frankie is her name, the daughter.
Right.
But you don't see Frank Jr. interact with his daughter, which
Frank Jr. was too much into getting the chicken Franny's into a franchise.
Franchise, yes. He's focused on that.
He's very focused on that. And it's, I don't know if they're going to build more onto that or why we didn't see much interaction between him and his daughters, but that's a good catch. I didn't even think
right,
about that.
right.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see that. I mean, that's somewhere where the story can go, certainly. And like I said, it's based on a book, so I'm sure all this is in the book and we just don't know. I didn't read the book, I admit it. But yeah, so we'll have to see where that character goes. And then you have Frankie. Like I said, she is all teen, complete with the attitude and the eye rolls. And, her aunt is so cool and shiny and sparkly. And here she is with her mom, her dull
Brings
mom.
back memories, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Teen girls are so fun. It made me think of, there's a comedian, Leanne Morgan, and she's hysterically funny, has Netflix specials and whatnot. But she's talking about when her daughters were teenagers, and she, in one of the bits, she says something like, the mere presence of her breathing drove her daughter insane. Yes. And it's just bothered her daughter. And I was like, that is so true of teen girls, her mere breath. Yes, really, really. And I'm not a comedian, so I'm failing at the joke, but I just thought that was so funny and so true.
It is
so true with teenagers. So it's going to be interesting to see if, once Frankie sees the reality of her aunt and what her aunt, her May has panic attacks and is just a real person like everybody else. And just because she has money and all that doesn't mean she doesn't have problems.
And she's very, what is that, OCD? She is like everything, Amanda, or not Amanda, May.
Oh, we're not to May yet, but we were talking about Frankie. Are you done with Frankie? And then you can go on to May. Okay. Okay, you can go on to May. You're talking about May. Go for May.
I just thought it was funny because she's very particular. Everything's got to be in its place. And she's got to rearrange it several times, which I thought was funny. And I also, why would she lie to her fiance? She's thought about, I worked on Broadway. But
because when you think about where she came from, like you talking about the OCD, they talked about how Gus, her mom, was a pack rat and had what they call a hoarder.
Yes.
Had a hoarder and had all this stuff around. And you know what it's like when you have so much stuff around and you just can't think straight sometimes. And so she kind of went the polar opposite in that very clean lines. She has very few things. Like you said, everything has a place. And if it's not there, it drives her crazy. Like she reorganized the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the way.
You gotta rinse the plates.
And I think the Broadway lie is probably because she was embarrassed about where she came from. She didn't have the money to go right away and live, the way she wanted to live in New York. So I think that's probably where the lie came. And I found it interesting too that she's in her show, in May's reality show, she's like the mean one, the hard one. And that's like her mom. Right. So she's more like her mom.
But also the fact that she's in a show that talks about hoarding. And
that's true. You know what? I did that. Didn't duh.
That's where I was going with it. It's like, her mom's a hoarder. And like you said, her mom's got an attitude and is kind of moody. And she's the same way.
She's
you know what I mean? It's like-
hardened, yeah.
So that's what I got.
Oh
from
no,
her.
that's a really great point.
It's
Yeah, her
interesting.
show. I didn't even think
and
about
then her
that, yes.
co-host is all like lovey, and she's like
Bubbly
"Oh,
and nice and fun."
Hey, doing her social media. I thought that was funny. That was
Yeah,
really
I
good.
mean, May, she seems, like the shiny diamond on the hill, but in reality, she's broken too. She just tries to hide it
Yeah.
by
And-
other things,
but
except
what-
with her family.
But what's going to be interesting is the fact that she knows Sabrina Sky.
Yes, I have that down.
Where's
Like,
that going?
what's the secret there between her and what is it, Sabrina Sky?
Sabrina
right.
Sky.
What about Shawnee? What do you think about her?
Oh my goodness. I love her character.
Yes.
She is so witty and funny, and she's just laid back. That's what I think about from a small town. Is somebody just like that.
Yeah,
you know?
she's going to be the comedic relief for
Yes.
sure for Nancy,
Yes.
right? So she, like, her witty quips, like you said, she's funny. Like, I don't need their help. I stay TV ready.
That was hilarious.
And the other thing I wrote down when she talks about the TV people, she says they care about people looking good and doing bad.
That was
that was so
thing.
fun. She's so good.
That's what I had down.
Her
those two
character
things.
is just gonna be great.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait to see how they develop her.
Right. Me too.
But so let's move on to Sabrina. What'd you think about her?
I really don't have a good feeling about her yet, except, she seems like she's going to be a lot, like a big personality, because she was sort of taken aback when they weren't more excited to see her.
That
She's
was
like,
funny.
okay.
She's like, okay.
Usually I get more excited. So, and like you said, I wonder what the beef is between her and May. So I think we got a little snippet of her, and
Right.
she did have like a little, I know May.
Mhm.
But it was brief. So
Very
there's
brief.
room to grow there
Yeah.
as well. So I found that interesting. What about Sergio?
Sergio, I think he's kind of a cool cat character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got his white T-shirt on. He's got his chef pants on, and he's in the kitchen.
And he's got the swagger going with Amanda a little bit.
I
She's
know. She
married.
was all
Yeah,
flustered
yeah.
there, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
she's a
That
little
was-
flustered, a little verklempt, as they say.
He was like, try this. It's a hush puppy.
Yeah. He's like,
And it
the
almost
good
seemed
looking-
like they
Yeah.
didn't know what hush puppies were. And I was kind of thinking, wait a minute.
I didn't get that impression, but
Yeah, he said, I call it a hush puppy.
I call it a hush puppy. Well,
And
maybe.
and she's like, this is something that I would go for at night. Or I can't remember the exact words what she said, but that was funny. But she was very
He said,
flustered.
I'm up all night or something
Yeah,
like that.
he
Yeah.
says, I'm up all night.
Then when she couldn't get her seatbelt, Amanda
Yeah.
couldn't get her seatbelt. That was pretty fun. That was a pretty funny scene.
and-
And then, I mean, maybe May will end up with him.
You never know.
That'd be pretty cool.
Character building. right
Char-
there. The
character
arts,
building,
right?
character building. I mean, overall, so I really think that it was family and friend dynamics on steroids. Like I
Yes.
said, we got so much information, but
Sure
it was just enough for a first episode. And the narration, I loved the narration throughout the entire thing. It was just the right quip at the
Yeah.
right time,
Yeah.
the right information. So I'm really digging the narration. I don't always like that either, but
Right.
I'm kind of digging it.
It's the voice. If you got a
Yes.
nice, soft, flowing voice, I'm into it. But I wanted to ask you if you caught this.
Probably not.
Going back. But at the beginning, when she was narrating and the scenes are of the small town, and they go, is it a coffee shop? I'm not sure what it is.
Might be where they
But-
go to get, yeah.
But there's Jen, I think he's one of the characters, Cardi Wong. He's coming out of that store with his wife and a baby in a stroller, right?
Right.
But later on in the show, Sergio catches him in the freezer
with Gus.
With Gus.
Gus, yes.
So
oh, no, I
there's
didn't catch
another-
that.
what's going
so
on
at the very
there?
beginning, you see, what's his character name? I'm sorry, I did
It's
not write
Jen.
that down.
Gen.
Jen, that's the character name?
That's the character
Okay.
name.
So he is walking out with his wife, and he's
Mhm.
probably in his 30s or
Yeah,
whatever,
a younger
with
guy.
his wife and and she's pushing a stroller, a
Yes.
baby stroller. And then later in the episode, you
Mhm.
see him with Gus in the
Gus.
closet or
The
freezer,
freezer.
or whatever. Sergio catches them.
Yeah.
I did not
And then he
notice
sneaks
that.
out the back.
That's very
He's
interesting.
like, I know the routine.
everybody knows each other, I guess.
So what's going on with Gus? Does she have something going on in the small town?
That's why I think there's so many different places they can go.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to see each episode as it unfolds. I mean, I'm really excited about the series because there's so many different directions they can go, and I'm just not honestly sure.
Yeah.
I mean, will they end up all
together
in the end? Over? Will the feud be over?
I hope
would there be a season 2 if the feud ends at episode 8?
That's true.
We got to keep some feud going, right?
Yeah. At least for 5 seasons.
A little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed the first episode, and it makes me look forward to more. Yeah. And I just thought the character development was excellent.
Yes, it was in
episode 1.
Yep. So, you want to rate it?
Do you want to rate it? Let's go.
Out of 5 corks, what do you give it?
I give it a 5 corks. Yep, that's what I would give it.
There's 5 of them.
It'd have to be a 5. I just thought it was excellent. And that's no surprise after listening to this episode.
And usually it takes a couple episodes for the cast to gel with each other.
We've talked about that.
They gelled right we've talked
from the
opening gate.
About that before with other series, and that to really get running and get your footing and everything in a series. But this one I felt like right away, right out of the gate, which is excellent.
Yep. So I give it a 5 too.
You give it a 5 also? Oh, I forgot to ask you, how many corks would you give it?
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about
how
me.
many fingers do I have? 4 fingers and 1 thumb. That gives me 5 corks.
Okay.
Yes.
5. We're 5 out of 5. Both of us.
So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap for this one. Whew, we did it. That was
the first TV series episode.
Our first review of a TV series.
We hope you enjoy it. Well, thanks for listening. Be sure to follow the podcast wherever you listen so you don't miss one. Also, follow us on social media. If you really, really like the show and are listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. And if you didn't really, really like the show, that's okay, because you can still leave a 5-star review.
You can always leave that 5-star review.
Yes.
Be sure to join us next Tuesday when we review episode number 2 of The Chicken Sisters. We're on the same team, y'all. I'm detecting a theme with the y'all.
Y'all. Come back now, you hear?
It will air on Sunday, April 6th on the Hallmark Channel. Be sure to also tune in on Wednesdays for our Hallmark movie reviews.
Yes.
We'll be dropping one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hey. Until then, fill up your glasses and push play. Thanks for listening. Cheers.